Welcome back to the My Pro Golfer channel. Jeremy Franks coming to you here from the chipping green at Summerfield Crossings Golf Club. Gang, today we start a new video series on shots from 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, and so on that can help you hit those types of shots no matter what level of golfer that you are. So if you're a high handicapper, we're going to have a program for you. And if you're a low handicapper that really wants to get it tight in that spot, we're going to put you and get you the knowledge of what you need to do that. Before I do that, if you guys like, subscribe, get involved with this series because it's going to take you all the way down to a 70-yard shot each week. We're going to progress a little bit further as we work on this program. Hey, thanks for watching today's episode. Here at My Pro Golfer, you know we like to keep things simple. And today, I've got a special gift for you to help you never miss a 5-foot putt again. Click the link below and download today. All right, guys, as we discussed, we've got a 20 to 10-yard shot, and we're going to do the 10-yard shot first and the 20-yard shot second. First off, I want to talk a little bit about a level of golfer. So I always want you, if you're a high handicapper, to putt whenever possible. Know that I would want you, in all seriousness, to putt this putt of 10-yard shot. And our 10-yard shot is from the golf bag and the bucket to that first flag. And then our 20-yard shot is from the bucket to that other flag. At a 36 handicap level or higher, the goal is just to get it on the green in between those two spots. That's all you really need to be successful. If you're trying to be a scratch player, we're going to talk about both, the 36 handicapper and the scratch player in this series. You're going to want to try to chip that within 2 to 3 feet at the minimum, at the furthest. You're almost thinking as a scratch player, wow, I could really get a chance to actually make this shot. We're going to talk about both aspects as we go through the 10 to 20 yard shot we're going to teach you today. All right, so we're talking about the high handicapper first. High handicappers, I want you to get a very de-lofted iron. I don't want you to think about using a wedge here. I want to make it simple. It's almost like a putt, but you're actually going to chip it with, I've got an 8 iron, 7 iron, 6 iron, whatever you feel most comfortable with. Play around with all three. I like the 8 iron here. It's not that far, and what the goal is, the difference between putting it and actually chipping it is just we're going to get the ball up and bouncing on the turf to make it easier to roll out. If I were to putt this, I'd have to hit it pretty hard because I've got quite a bit of Bermuda grass in it, and the lies are, you know, kind of a little suspect here. So there's some holes in the turf. So we want to get a little bit of loft, get it bouncing and going. This is going to be very much like a putt. You're going to play it just a little bit further back in your stance than you would for a putt, but you're going to get pretty close to it, choke down on the shaft, and you just want to get the sensation of just brushing it very lightly. Because of the loft not being very high, this ball is going to come out low and running. I'm going to get a little test right here. Oh, almost made it. For a high handicap, we got it to roll out. It's about 4 feet past. I'm okay with that. If I can get here in 2 or 3 shots, chip that on and make a 6 on a par 4, or even lucky enough to make a 5, that was a successful day. And I didn't get stuck anywhere. It wasn't a difficult shot. I didn't thin a shot across the green. That's our focus on that 10-yard shot. So now, a scratch player, what are we trying to do? Well, from a scratch standpoint, we don't want to deal with any of these lies that we have in front of us. We want to get it on the green, rolling out as cleanly as possible. Because it's fairly short shot for an advanced player, I'm taking my 60-degree wedge. I'm still going to get kind of close to it. I want to get the ball out here so I can kind of pick the line. And a lob wedge is you're going to send it about 60% of the distance, and the rest of it's going to roll out about 40 for an average green. At Summerfield, our greens are a little firmer, so I'm going to go with a 50-50 type feel shot. And my goal as a scratch player is to hold this shot. I don't want to just get it close. I want to read it like a putt. So I saw a little bit of break to the left to right here. I'm going to play for that. I've got a spot about halfway picked out. I'm going to get a little close to it. I'm going to get the heel off the ground just a little bit so that it doesn't dig and move the ball to the left for me, if it digs into the hosel, the face is going to turn over and we might get a little bit of a pull and it rolls out a little bit too far. So let's get that club behind the golf ball, down, toe down just a little bit, get the heel up off the ground. And again, we're just similar to the 8-iron, we're kind of brushing it like a putt. The only difference is it's back in our stance. We're going to brush, hit that spot, roll, roll, roll. Oh, we're just short, but we'd be easily tapping that in. As I practice this shot, I'd get it to roll just a little bit more out there, and that's how I want you to play the 10-yard shot. Pretty simple. Now we're going to move into that 20-yard shot and see how we do. Hey, just want to remind you to not forget on getting your free gift below on how to never miss a 5-foot putt. All right, as promised, here we go. We're going into that 20-yard shot. And remember, for a 36 handicap player, we just want to be kind of anywhere in between there so that we have a pretty simple putt that we could 2-putt from 6 to 10 feet. That's all we're really looking to do. So we're going to get yourself set up here very similar. Only difference is when you add about 10 yards to a shot, you just got to bring it back a little bit further and a little bit further through. So for my 10-yard with that 8-iron, I took it to about here and through to there. That's the feel I got. You're going to want to practice it a little bit because every green is a little bit different, every surface is a little bit different, every lie and loft is a little bit different. So my 8-iron is going to now go back to about there, from there to there, and there to there. That is going to add about 10 yards of speed through the shot and momentum that's going to carry that ball all the way on there. And so this might be a shot, even though I'm a scratch player, I might want to try to hit this little 8-iron in there kind of tight and not worry about holing it. So I'm going to get my same setup, going to get a little taller, a little bit more on top of it, making sure that that heel doesn't grab. We're going to try to get the heel to stay off of it, and we're just going to brush just a little bit more than we did. That ball's rolling out cleanly, and I got that into about 2 feet. All right, for you high handicappers, that is a phenomenal spot. It literally gives you a chance to make a par or a bogey. We want to try to minimize the damage as much as possible. So now you got a couple options as a scratch player. Going to deal a little bit about what's on the green. So I don't know if you can see on camera too much, but there's quite a bit of disturbance right here. There's a couple of humps and bumps. So from a scratch standpoint, I'm going to want to carry that so I can let it land on something that I know the surface is in pretty decent shape and I kind of know how it's going to release. So I'm going to hit the lob wedge again, my 60 degree, and just do the same thing we did for the 10-yard shot, but we're just going to extend it a little bit with a little bit more momentum, carrying that ball just a little bit further than we did and getting it to roll out. So I'm going to set myself up, same setup. We're not going to change anything crazy there. It's not further enough of a shot to change the function. And then we're just going to make that same stroke, carry it past the junk. It didn't bounce kind of the way I wanted it. I got it into about 4 feet. So for me, I want the 36 handicap approach because this isn't really a chip I'm thinking about making at 20 yards. I'm trying to get it within 3 to 4 feet. All right, so hopefully you're seeing the theme here for these two different shots. The higher the handicap, the more we want to have less loft, so less room for error, and the lower the handicap, the more loft that you can bring in. And why do we do that? Because loft can be your friend, but if you're not sticking it through the shot itself, you can get the hosel and the toe line out in front of you and you can thin the ball or fat the ball across the green. So high handicappers, try to get the loft to be a little bit de-lofted, get it low and rolling on the ground. For the lower handicap, the more precise player, you can play around with using more loft. Hopefully this was helpful. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next Thursday at 6 o'clock.